Hey everybody.
Hi, we're back.
Welcome back to the extended branch.
Hey,
Gonna practice now.
that's my snack. Well,
we brought snacks.
We did.
See, we're all eating snacks.
We do.
Andrew, why are we eating snacks?
Because this episode we're going to talk about the guy who sits outside the door and just kind of has a chill job, making sure that nobody comes in. Oh wait, that's a sword between me.
Oh my goodness. Where did that sword come from?
Hello.
Ricky, what is best in life? As always, this is the Extended Branch, a Masonic podcast dedicated to demystifying the fraternal aspects of Freemasonry. Any opinions shared here by the participants are their own and do not reflect any Grand Lodge opinions, jurisdictional things, or anything like that.
I got fired after the last intro.
Yeah.
There was a meeting. I had to concede.
We did.
Karen sent the memo.
Yeah,
down.
we did.
Hi.
I am worshipful brother Andrew Rizzatello. This is Brother Billy Bilbo, current senior deacon of Olive Branch Lodge 16 and organist emeritus.
Thank you. Oh, I retired?
Well, no, it doesn't matter if you retire or
In
not.
perpetuity.
In perpetuity.
In perpetuity.
Oh, thank
And
you.
member of the Society of King Solomon, Brother Kevin Conner.
Hello.
And as stated before, we are going to discuss the Tyler of
Yeah.
the Lodge.
He's the guy who sits outside.
Yeah.
He's an officer, 100% an officer.
Yep.
He belongs on the officer line.
He does.
He just doesn't get to sit inside with us.
But we can't start a meeting without him.
No, if he's not
That's
there,
true.
it's over. Yep.
That's it.
It's over. So, as per usual, I do have a game before we get into the big snack discussion.
I have a game too.
And Kevin's got a game, so we both have a game.
And I'm just here.
And Andrew is
I got a sword.
And
No,
Andrew,
wait,
Andrew is competing with himself.
He is
at that point.
fine.
Wait, what?
So, last episode I introduced a new game.
Yes, you did.
What was it called?
Trivium Pursuit.
Dun-dun-dun,
Trivium?
We have to work on the song.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, no,
Sorry.
that's Richard Dawson. That's the feud.
That's the feud.
So, the way the game works. So, like I explained last time, the Trivium is a book that contains, let's call it descriptions and explanations of things concerning grammar, logic, and rhetoric.
So basically what's going to happen is Billy's going to ask a question and neither of us
Yeah,
will
they're not
know.
going to know. No, just kidding.
We're like dead trees, just stumped.
So,
Wow.
this one...
You like that?
That's
Dad joke right
that's
there.
there it is.
Jeez. So, speaking of G's, we're going to get into our first question. You gentlemen ready?
Let's go.
Okay, I'm going to read a little thing, and then you guys at home and Kevin and Andrew are going to try to figure out what I am trying to tell you. All right. Since English, like Chinese, uses so little inflection to express relations between its terms, it instead relies heavily on form words or copula to express these relations. Spoken English uses a huge number of these conjunctions, prepositions, and interjections compared to someone speaking a heavily inflected language like Sanskrit or Polish. Not a lot. It was a mouthful. Go ahead.
Connotation?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm assuming this is something to do with grammar. So
I know,
it's specific to words.
Yes, that is correct. I know it was a lot, so if you want me to read it again, I can go
So
again.
it has to do with inflections
Yes, all right.
or types of inflection?
English uses so little inflection to express relations between its terms, it instead relies heavily on form words or copula to express these relations.
I have another guess, but I'll wait for Kevin.
So, hold on. Before I give you another little clue, or you guess, I want to draw you back to last time and how simple it was.
That's where I'm going to go next. That's where my
Okay.
answer is going to go.
All right, go ahead. Give me a shout.
A connotation?
No,
That's
he
what I
said
said.
connotation.
That's what I said,
Okay.
yeah. Adjectives?
No.
Ah.
All right, let me give you a little bit more.
Okay.
While nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs are open classes, with new words entering the vocabulary on a daily basis, conjunctions and prepositions are closed classes, so can be listed in their entirety, which begs a question. And then, if you want, I'll read you the answer to the. I'll read you the question after I give you the answer. That help at all?
No.
Snacks.
Yes, snacks.
All right. So while they eat their snacks,
I
I'll
got
give
nothing.
you at home and then the answer. The answer is little words.
What?
Such as at, the, little, couldn't, wouldn't, shouldn't, couldn't. That's what it's referring to. So here, wait.
Really?
Yeah. Are these all possible relations between substances and actions, or are there further relations which we only have difficulty imagining due to a lack of words? So conjunctions and prepositions are little words. They're just taking one word and taking two words and making it into one word, which therefore makes it not a big word, but a smaller word, if it makes sense.
No, I mean it's a conjunction. So.
Yeah. It is possible that the original primitive language of our ancestors comprised of a small collection of simple sounds, the smallest building blocks of meaning. So
Okay.
it's that kind of thing, like grunts, things that would almost sound guttural,
Okay.
you know?
That's
Which
interesting.
that's a whole nother thing in the trivium, by the way.
So that was the first one. That was the easy question.
Little words. Yeah, that was the easy one. Little words. Hey.
This is not.
All right, so I'm gonna let you guys know. You would think grammar would be the easiest one of
It
the
is not.
three. It is the
No.
absolute hardest
No.
thing to get your brain around, grammar itself.
Right.
It really, truly is. I have spent more time in this book on the grammar section by itself than in any other part of this book, and I've actually gone through most of it at this point. My wife and I, we sit down and I read a little excerpt at dinner because we both like to think it over while we're eating. It's fun. It's a little
That
game.
is romantic.
Yeah.
Hey man, whatever
That's a
works for
beautiful
you.
Thing,
Yeah.
man.
All right, so here's my next one. It's very near and dear to me.
Oh,
Not that. You'll get it from this clue I'm about to give you.
okay.
Okay. So, the clever or playful use of words can be also witty, rhetorically apt, or foolish, rhetorically crude. Timing, such as subject, audience, and goal, are things to ponder before using your pun gun.
Jokes.
Nope.
Comedy.
Nope.
I,
Specifically, yes, it is
irony?
comedy. Nope, but specifically,
It's a specific type of comedy.
yes.
um,
So now we're in rhetoric, so now it gets a little weird.
Satire.
Yes, but no.
situational comedy.
Nope. You want a little more?
Yeah.
Okay. I hate this word. Homonymity. Homonymity.
Homonymity.
Yep. Different words, same look and sound. And homophony, different words, similar sound. If language were a mechanism, ambiguity would be its play or leeway.
But it's a form of comedy.
Not a form. I would say it actually is comedy.
But that's not the term you're looking for.
It's not a pun.
It is, but it's not.
Okay.
I wouldn't give you the word.
Yeah, I've exhausted my
I
answers.
don't know. I have no idea.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Wit and wordplay.
Okay.
I mean, yes.
Like word.
Yeah,
All right.
like
I'm,
a pun
I'm
is
overthinking
wordplay.
this.
Yeah, we are.
You
I'm
guys got.
overthinking
That's why this book is so good. Because you're going to look for the deeper answer.
Okay.
You know.
No, it's exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Because wordplay is comedy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Hell, just look at Mel Brooks.
Yeah. All right, and the last one, very also near and dear to my heart. As long as man continues to be the ruthless destroyer of lower living beings, he will. Excuse me, it really choked me up. He will never know health or peace. For as long as men massacre animals, they will kill each other. Indeed, he who sows the seed of murder and pain cannot reap joy and love. Pythagoras.
I was gonna say, like, how is this a word? And
Quotation.
No.
so is this part of logic?
Yes.
Sympathy?
No. Close. Very close.
Empathy?
No. Less close.
Less close. So sympathy is closer. Kindness?
Oh,
It's there.
Is
Yeah.
it precedent?
No.
No.
All right, I'll give you another one. The question is not can they reason, nor can they talk, but can they suffer? That is quoted to Jeremy Bentham in 1780.
So kindness was close to what you were looking for.
Yep.
Empathy is not.
Empathy is there, but it's less close.
It's less close than
Yeah.
kindness.
Yeah, because you'll see. I got the other part of this is coming up later.
Okay.
In
I
the
have
series.
no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Ethics and animals.
All right. Okay. I didn't see that.
Okay.
You did burden heavy on the animal aspect of those two statements.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Ethics and animals. So basically, how do we treat animals?
Right.
If we can't treat animals properly, what makes anyone think that we can treat each other properly?
That's a very Gandhi quote of you.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah, and you know I'm an animal lover.
Oh, please.
Me and my cats and my dogs, and I do love animals.
And you worked on a farm.
Yeah, I am a farm man. I do love horses and goats.
Goats. Wait a second. You mentioned goats. You mentioned goats on a Masonic podcast. How dare you?
Yeah,
I made it a whole season
Yeah, not once.
without mentioning the goat.
We had
There it
Ricky
Listen, Betsy is in New Mexico right now.
with Karen. They're on vacation.
That's right. There. Yeah.
So, as we stated at the beginning of this episode, we're gonna save this for the end, correct?
What do you? Yeah, we'll save it.
We'll save this.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
sure.
All right. Don't want to.
Yeah, no, go ahead, do it.
So
So-
speaking of animals,
Yeah. Speaking about animals. All right. As I just cut Kevin off because I'm
That's
animalistic.
fine.
that comes-
There's snacks. Go ahead.
As stated at the beginning of this episode, we're going to be discussing the Tyler, both the physical and symbolic meaning of the position in a Masonic lodge. I am currently the Tyler of Olive Branch Lodge 16 in Freehold, New Jersey. As is tradition here, the immediate past master gets to sit outside the door under the assumption that they now possess the knowledge of who is and who isn't a traveling brother. They have a better knowledge of who is allowed to attend meetings, at what degree or on what degree, and who needs verification to join such meetings.
Andrew, I have a question. Because, as everyone knows, I'm Billy Bilbo. And I got some questions. Why can't the Tyler come inside? Like, I know you said he waits outside, but isn't that only at the beginning? Like, why can't he just come in
So,
in the middle?
as the more, if you want to go the logical aspect of it, it is the worshipful master's prerogative to invite the Tyler inside and what we say tile with an open door.
Ah,
Okay.
all right.
Which our worshipful master and obviously past masters have done because we don't want to not allow the Tyler to hear the meeting minutes.
Right, right.
However, historically, the Tyler would be, quote unquote, the bouncer, so to speak.
Okay.
And to make sure that individuals would not enter that were unqualified, as I stated before, cowens and eavesdroppers.
Well, hold on a second. What does that even mean? What? So an eavesdropper, I guess, just from life, we can all kind of figure that out. It's someone who's just listening to us.
So I actually know where that term comes from.
Well, me too, but we'll get into it.
Okay.
The other question is, what is a cowen?
Ha!
I have no idea what that is. Why are we defending anything from them? What is it?
Do you honestly not know what a cowen is?
I know what a cowen is.
Okay. I didn't know if you were playing this game.
Yeah.
So a cowen is someone who declares themselves to be something they're not.
Yes.
In our case, a mason, a fellow mason of any degree.
Mm.
And without the proper sign, token, grip, or word, you would not be able to properly enter a Masonic lodge.
Mhm.
Nowadays, we have dues cards, be it physical or virtual. The secretary has an extensive list of who is and who isn't and what degree they are. But again, historically, you would have to know the grip or word or token of that degree in order to join a meeting. So that is the term cowen. Eavesdropper is literally what it sounded like.
Yeah.
There would be someone on the eave of a building, where the roof kind of slopes down.
EAVE.
Yes, not evening, but eve of a building, trying to listen in to conversations of royalty or higher class individuals. Hence, Eve dropping.
So all I could think of is a ninja trying to listen to
I mean, yes, yes.
ritual.
Shinobi over here.
Yeah.
That's right. So, when we first started talking about this subject, I thought it was going to be just absolutely fantastic because we spend all this time talking about the fraternity and brotherhood and understanding and trying to to break down walls basically. But we're going to make sure we take a guy and put him out in front of the door.
You
And make a
outside.
wall.
Go outside.
And guard it.
Yeah, first of all, you go outside.
Yeah.
And
No more
second
you.
of all, here's a big toothpick.
Yeah.
I think it's tremendous that this is still in practice, and I'm looking forward into talking about like kind of the symbolism behind this because it's funny that where if that was the conscious thought behind the planning, and I want to say fairly recent planning on the part of our lodge. Of taking the immediate past master and making them
putting
retire.
them outside.
Just
Yeah.
a lot of people have done it that way for a long time, but
Yeah.
there are plenty of lodges and jurisdictions
That
where they don't do
There's
that.
a couple
It's
lodges
just a-
in
it's
our
just an
jurisdiction
opposite,
that have new Masons as the Tyler.
Yeah. Your first
So-
step is outside the door.
Because I would think that between the Tyler and the secretary of the Tyler's job, you'll figure out whether somebody belongs in there or not.
Yeah.
That's no problem. But I think symbolically taking the past master and putting them outside the door is incredibly important.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to get into that.
Well, all right, Kevin. I have a question for you then.
Sure.
Why do you think kicking that has been out?
The,
It's
gr-
so
the grumpy
important?
the grumpy
Yeah.
past master.
Well,
the immediate grumpy past
Yeah.
master.
so I
Not that
think
he's a has-been.
I think that
Worshipful has been.
one of the things that immediately comes to mind for me is that you've taken the outgoing worshipful master and you've made them the Tyler, right? And then they serve the Tyler for the ensuing year. So the thought that comes to me is that they are protecting all that they have tended to in their year as worshipful master, right? So if you think of the worshipful master as a gardener, right? They know best what is the state of the lodge from the last 12 months of their time there,
Yeah.
and that it's their job and it's their responsibility to guard that and protect that. Now, that in a physical sense, that's what the Tyler does. But in a more symbolic sense, what you're talking about is entrusting a person with the responsibility of protecting a space where Freemasons can do their work, right? So we go to great lengths as Freemasons, and we have throughout the many centuries of Freemasonry, to make sure that we are meeting in a place away from persecution, away from conjecture, away from what we were talking about in the last episode about religion and politics and all kinds of things, the superfluities of life, right? All of these things, the things that get in the way of the work of true fraternalism, right? So it's the Tyler's job symbolically to represent a portal between the profane world and what is going on in Freemasonry.
The
Right.
sacred retreat.
Exactly. It's right. We've
Or keeper at the gate.
that
as it
I
were.
think is absolutely fantastic, and I love the fact that the symbol representing it is a sword, right?
Not a shield.
No, because no, it's not a shield.
No.
Because a shield is a barrier,
Yeah.
right? A sword is truth,
Yeah.
right?
Cutting.
Right, and that's the point where, if I get excited at all about the Tyler, it's like, yeah, you go get that sword, and it's not just like it's not like okay, swords, because it is a little bit about
Yeah, it
swords,
is. Yes, it is.
but like if you're defending your lodge with a lightsaber because you have a meeting on May the 4th, then fine, I get that, but well, I mean, why wouldn't you? It's kind of
I
expected.
tried. I
Right.
tried.
Okay, so, but symbolically, if we do not lift up the difference between a tiled lodge and a fraternal space in which to do the work of Freemasonry and the outside world, then we're leaving ourselves open for all kinds of, like I said, to reuse the word, conjecture. So historically, just the last thought on my mind is that the tiler's job, outside of maybe a current practice of Freemasonry, literally was to be a barrier, because where Freemasons were meeting was a shared space of some kind, either a shared building or up on the top of a hill so that they could see people that would be approaching, right? That was the tiler's job. So the tiler's job is as much a physical manifestation of the job as it is a symbolic one.
So to kind of piggyback off that, a past master brought up the idea before the show started in what we would, I guess you could say, the green room, so to speak, and the idea, more of a symbolic version of the tiler, where not only is that person, that individual, that man guarding, as we say, the west gate, but his job extends further throughout the lodge to guard our minds, where we're taught to keep ourselves in due bounds with all mankind, blah blah blah. However, the tiler should be that extra barrier, should be that protector, where if he notices someone going to the extremes of their circle, of their point within a circle, he should be the one reminding that errand brother, like, listen, calm down. This guy either has a point or doesn't have a point, isn't worth your time, whatever the meaning is. And that tiler should be the guard of Freemasonry in general within your lodge. Kind of like what Kevin was saying, where the symbolism behind the tiler should be ever present. Not just literally guarding a door with a sword against supposed individuals.
All right, so I have another question. We have a sword.
We do.
His
name is Catherine.
Catherine. So, does the tiler get to pick the sword? Does the worshipful master get to pick the sword? Is there a traditional sword?
What's the term? Jurisdictional.
Yeah, it's going to be a long time before I'm a tiler. Just because in our lodge we use a successive line, so you get to be the tiler after you've been the worshipful master, and I'm, at least representing the 1/3 of the podcast who has not been or will not be a worshipful master for quite some time. I hope at least that there's a conversation that can be had between the new worshipful master and the outgoing worshipful master about the implement of his office.
So, one of the things that I enjoyed doing during my time as worshipful master is I gave my tiler a different implement every time.
You did.
At one point, I gave my 5'5" tiler a wushu blade that stood 7 foot tall.
There was a halberd?
It was a halberd.
That was a halberd, yes, it was a halberd.
There was a halberd?
Obviously, this claymore that we have next to us, I did attempt to, because our meetings fall on Tuesdays. Last year, May 4th was a Tuesday. I really tried to have an immersion communication during that day so I could give my tiler a lightsaber.
No.
That didn't happen, unfortunately. I think it is at the worshipful master's discretion to give the tiler the proper implement of his office. I have heard rumors that in certain jurisdictions the tiler is actually given a firearm at times. These cannot be verified as of yet. Yeah. Again, these are rumors. However, depending on the state you're in, state being United States, I don't doubt that being an implement that has been given.
I have no problem saying I hope that's not the case.
Yeah, because there have been accidents.
I look forward to your letters.
Yes.
Please.
There's times when we have you can get Masonic swords where they're real decorative around the halberd or the hilt and whatnot, and you can hand those to your tiler. But stereotypically, it has been a bladed weapon.
Yes. And this is in fact a real sword,
and it should be that's the symbol.
Yeah.
Right. Anything other than that symbol
would
be incorrect.
the jewel that Tyler wears is a.
It's
blade.
literally a sword.
It's a sword.
In almost every jurisdiction I've seen, it's a sword.
But isn't that the same for the Masters of Ceremony?
But not every jurisdiction has the Master of Ceremonies.
And they're cross swords.
All right, I'm going to leave now.
Shoo.
Yes.
So we have a real sword. It's a real sword. I asked about the different ones because we do have several swords upstairs.
That's my doing, honestly.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, swords are swords. There's a cool Conan the Barbarian one up there that I really like. But
You want to talk about the officer's sword, the actual sword of the lodge?
Yeah, might as well.
like our
Because
sword?
let's do it.
Oh yeah. So
Because this is a bit of history that we get to share with the world.
should I go get it?
You can't take that. Same thing as that one. You can't take it off the wall, unfortunately.
It's mounted because we
We will place pictures.
Yeah,
somewhere
we'll
along
put
this.
them in the description at
Yeah.
some point. So basically, it is our sword from 1749,
So-
1849,
No, before 1849. 1739. I
Yeah.
believe.
Okay. So we started. Olive Branch started as a lodge in Pennsylvania, and they either moved or lost their Pennsylvania charter, and they had to move to New Jersey. This sword was actually part of the lodge that was in Pennsylvania before it came to New Jersey. It was lost, and then in the 1900s, the 60s or something like that, it wound up.
No, 18. The 18s.
Was it the 1800s?
It was the 18s, yeah.
So it wound up making its way back to our lodge, and we have it here, and it's been restored, and we have a nice little
We
thing
cleaned
upstairs.
it up as much as we can because, again,
And
this is a literal
it's
piece
an
of history.
An officer's sword.
Yeah, it's a cavalry
and
sword.
and it is a cavalry sword,
Yeah.
and I gotta stop clapping. And
Hold on. The word is cavalry.
Cavalry.
Okay.
Not
Cavalry.
Calvary. Calvary is a place.
Cavalry was the last episode that we did.
Yes,
That's cavalry.
cavalry.
Yes.
And
I was thinking about that the other day. That's
it has a
and
metal.
Calgary is
Yeah.
in Canada,
And in Alberta, Canada. I know that.
and they play hockey there.
You will learn things on the extended branch.
They got the flame. But so our sword, it's very nice. Like I said, it's got a metal sheath, and it's our Tyler's the first sword, right? The first.
I believe
Tyler
it was
sword?
the first Tyler sword
Yeah, I'll have to
of
double
Olive
check.
Branch, the
Yeah,
name,
of Olive
the
Branch.
Constitution of Olive Branch, and it had been used up until I want to say 2016 when Kevin and I were raised, and it wasn't until that point that we decided that actually I brought this in to give to the Tyler because we wanted to memorialize
Yeah.
that sword, not because we didn't want to use it anymore, but because we wanted to show off our history
Mhm.
and memorialize this piece of history that has been with us since the 1700s.
And what are we on now? We're on a rapier.
Yes, I brought in a rapier for myself.
Yeah,
Okay.
Spanish. Yeah, Spanish with a really crazy.
It's a
ricotta.
absolute wall hanger. It's nothing.
It's a basket hilt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like from
Three
Princess
Musketeers.
Bride.
Yeah, Princess
like,
Bride. Yeah. My name is Ingio Montoya, and you've killed my father.
Yeah.
Prepare to die.
I'm
You
sorry.
have
I'm
to-
sorry.
You can't. I'm
I
sorry.
can't.
Just- You can't.
Just
You
leave
can't-
that hanging.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Come on, man.
Sorry.
Come on. Be kind. Be kind.
If I was going to be addressed by a Tyler and they only said half the quote, the implicit thing is like, he wants me to say "prepare to die," and then he would let me in the lodge, right?
That's the new Tyler's oath?
Tyler's oath. Okay, that's what it is. So we have a Tyler's oath in the Grand Jurisdiction of New Jersey.
We do.
Not everybody does.
Nope.
But it is one of our modes of recognition should we travel to a place. One of the ways that they could
Recognize us.
recognize us
Verify.
is ask. You know, this would be very official. It would be like, hey, I'm going to Bermuda and I want to go on vacation and I'd like to sit in a lodge while I'm there. Great. So the Secretary of New Jersey says Kevy wants to go to Bermuda, and the Grand Lodge, Bermuda says why.
Yeah.
And then when I show up at the lodge, one of the things that lodge is empowered to do is to ask me for the Tyler's oath, because on an official capacity, for the state of New Jersey, I would need to know that. I would be required to know that. Now, am I up on my Tyler's oath? No, but I'm also not going to Bermuda anytime soon. So these things will intersect at some point.
We've heard many a story of brethren from our own lodge that have traveled abroad. In fact, our first guest in the very first episode, Worshipful Brother De Luchita, went to Hawaii. and sat in a lodge for an EA degree there. And he had to go through the proper channels, being Grand Secretary of New Jersey, speaking to the Grand Secretary of Hawaii, making sure that all the paperwork is proper, and that Worshipful Brother was a current member and upstanding member, up to date with his dues and everything. However, I don't doubt that when he physically got there, there was a bit of a trial before he could enter the lodge room.
Arm wrestling.
Yes,
a punch fight.
Feats
something.
of strength.
Yeah.
I mean, he's over there. He probably met too many
funny.
Samoans. Things got heavy for him.
That's how we got the
It's
rock.
like, here, drink
Got
this.
it
What
right.
is it? It's in a coconut.
It's in a
It's in the
coconut.
coconut.
No offense
So I do
to
want
my Hawaiian
I
brethren.
want to no, this is with love. So I do want to talk about something for a second, just to go down the rabbit hole of symbolism for a second. Are there other ways that you have encountered, or other ways that you like or come to mind when we say to create an intentional space, a sacred space, a place set aside? Are there things that you have seen in either in Freemasonry or elsewhere that you might that register for you when you say, a sacred space? What are ways that we could do that?
All right. So I'll jump right into it and say Roman Catholicism.
Sure.
When opening Mass, the priest will have a procession down the center aisle of the church, typically, with altar boys, someone bearing the cross, someone bearing the Bible. Depending on whether or not it's a holiday, someone may have incense, frankincense, coming down with the aisle, which is symbolically used to purify a room. They approach the altar. Everything is set in its specific place. The crucifix, the Holy Bible. Someone who, most likely the Eucharist, goes into the tabernacle with the blood of Christ, the wine. The priest says a small prayer blessing the altar he is standing at.
Right.
And then he opens it up to the congregation.
Right.
Right there, that is my definition when I think of the phrase sacred space. That kind of ritual.
Sure.
That is a sacred space.
Sure.
So I'm going to draw back, going years back to when I used to work in kitchens. I used to work in restaurant kitchens. I ran a couple kitchens before I do what I do now. And one of the things that I used to find calming, and I would actually call it a sacred space, is that moment when all the prep is done on a Friday or Saturday night, and the doors aren't quite open yet, but we're done with the family meal. Family meal is when all the employees will cook for each other and we'll all sit and eat together before service starts.
Right.
And there would be a moment when the sous chef and the head chef would be in the kitchen, and you'd almost give the wait staff and your kitchen staff a pep talk. Like, it's going to be busy, blah, 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 that whole thing. That moment there, the quiet, the reverence before the chaos, the complete and utter chaos that would...
Rush.
That would 100% be coming.
Mm.
That would be a sacred moment where we could all just take a deep breath and realize, like, this is the calm. Like, take your deep breath, because this is the last time you're going to be able to take a deep breath, and then exhale and know that you're ready for this. And for me, that was like, yeah, okay, I'm ready to face this now. I've found my peace, and
That's a really interesting. That's a really
interesting.
interesting perspective to put it in the kitchen staff room.
Yeah, because it would get insane. Things.
Oh, of course. Oh,
would
please.
Ultimately fly. A pan would absolutely 100% of the time go flying across the kitchen on Friday or Saturday night.
Absolutely.
It was a guarantee. Whether it was me or my head chef, one of us was throwing a pan. That's just how it went.
Okay, I love your choice of words, right? And in particular, I love that you mentioned incense, because these are sensory things, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm telling you, like, all of these things.
The term is smudging.
What?
So, all right. So the Roman Catholic Church uses frankincense to clean the room. Native Americans would use herbs from their area, like here in New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
here
yeah.
in New Jersey, the Lenape were the biggest
Yeah.
Native American tribe. They would use specific. I think there's a form of acacia that grows in New Jersey. It's not actually acacia. It's just one of the
Like
very
a pine, variant.
some like it's a scrub pine or something like that. They would use pieces of that. They would use certain tree leaves, and that's what they would use for smudging. Smudging. It's not smudging like smudging makeup on your
Right.
face. Smudging was the burning of various vegetables and plants
That's fantastic.
from the area
I like
to
that.
cleanse the area of, at least in this sense, evil spirits or evil thoughts and negative emotions.
Get the feng shui going.
Yeah,
I think it's great. I think,
I like that.
absolutely, because if there's nothing else that we respond to, are these like intentional sensory inputs.
Oh my God,
right?
yes.
So I'll give you an example, right? And this is, just to be fair, this is again, it's from a Christian perspective, but there are other faith traditions that participate in this as well. If you've ever walked into a church or a cathedral or something like that, and you've looked at stained glass, right? So stained glass is intentionally chosen in the color pattern, in the way that it's situated, the certain amount of light that comes in, and then from that certain amount of light, the choice of color, all that stuff. It creates a meditative space, right? So it's not just the smell, and it's not just the space itself, but it's the light coming into the space, right? All of this stuff is treated for the work that's about to be done.
So you mentioned the space itself. If you notice, a very good cathedral or even a mosque or a synagogue or any of these places have huge, it's called cathedral ceilings.
Right.
It's for the sound.
Right.
You say it's a sensory issue. You hear the sound of either a person speaking or everyone in prayer, reciting the same word, the same spell,
and you get that mood.
Right, and it's done in unison.
Yeah.
It's purposefully done in unison.
and it's echoing off the walls,
Right.
which don't have any soft material or as audiophiles, sonics as they're called, on the walls to absorb the sound. It's meant to echo and bounce around this entire state and I don't know how this is going back to the Tyler aspect of it.
I'm getting there.
Okay. To create this atmosphere of, as you said, a sacred space.
Yeah. All right. So here's what it is. So we've created a portal, right, in the physical presence and the symbolic presence of the Tyler. The difference between the outside world and the sacred space, right? That is what the Tyler represents. It's one of the many things that is twofold. There's a public face to it, and then there's an esoteric face in that. And I use that term right now because what esoteric truly means is hidden knowledge or hidden wisdom. So let's talk about that for a second. When you started talking about the kitchen staff coming in and just being able to have a moment together, and everybody taking a breath, going, "We're gonna get slammed tonight."
Yeah.
Like,
But we're not
like,
right
I
now.
know I was a terrible waiter, and I know what that talk was like. All right, but I had this very conscious thought, and I actually meant to mention it in our previous episode, and I didn't. But I have always thought of, as we gather in lodge, if you gather in a place of worship or something like that, it's a thought that was given to me, and again, it's not my own, and it just resonates with me. That is an act of inspiration, right? It's literally breathing in, right?
Inspire,
right,
instead of expire.
Well, there's the act of inspiration, right? So inspiration is first, and then the word, which has a negative connotation, but in this case it wouldn't. The word is to conspire, right? So inspire, but conspire means to breathe together, to share the same air. Literally means to share the same air. Oh my God, this is like the stuff that I live for, right?
We're getting to the philosophic aspect. As you can see, Kevin's getting highly excited.
But within that, that shared space. We are doing the work of Freemasonry.
Yes.
Right? We are absolutely second to the highest ideals and expectations of everybody in that room. And then the word is expiration, right? The breathing out. It's nothing. We think expiration meaning, you know, the
death,
milk. The
or
milk
end
is
of,
old,
yeah.
or
Yeah.
like the death.
Yeah.
Or, no, but it's you're breathing. You're being breathed out into the world to do the work of being a better person.
Right.
Right. That's what we
to
should
perform
be doing.
the esoteric.
Right. Well, but the last thing we hear also, and this is beautiful. I mean, he's been on the podcast. Brother Long gave a wonderful talk about spending this time together, but then going out to do the work of Freemasonry.
Yes.
Right. What is expected of us? It is told to us, at least in our jurisdiction, by the master's charge at the end of every meeting. Right. And we won't go into all the specifics of what that text is. Again, join Freemasonry. Right? but like this is an expectation of you. You have just you've come together, you know, to lift up the best in all of us. You have a responsibility to take that out, and the Tyler governs that process.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm done.
So.
As you can see, Kevin is now removing his soapbox.
Thank you so much.
So I'd like
I
to.
look forward to your letter. I know I said that already, but
For a
people
different
expect
reason, though.
Yeah, right.
So I'd like to go back to little words quickly. if I
Oh,
may.
jeez.
So when it
Is
comes,
that the Rod Stewart band? No.
so, he couldn't see me, but I gave him a dirty look.
I
So
don't know what you're talking about.
no, never
Just
mind.
go, just go,
So,
Billy.
the word I believe is homonym, where it is the same word but it has two different meanings. And I'd like to, in regards to the Tyler, the word guard. So he is the physical person personifying guard, where he guards the door, but he's also guarding Freemasonry, as you said. So bringing that back to the trivium, and so the word guard has several different connotations to it. You know, the guard could be the strong guard, the one who protects, or it could be the one who's standing at your incarceration. He's guarding you from leaving.
Right.
So that is also what I think in that aspect. To bring it back to the gray is the Tyler also does have that job, where he is guarding us on the inside and he is guarding the lodge itself from the outside. He also has to be that kind of guard where he has to stop that person that can't go in,
Right.
mentally or physically.
Right.
And it gets that negative connotation there, but it also has that courageous connotation of he's willing to do what needs to be done to protect Freemasonry in and of itself. So my point is, why use the word Tyler and not the word guard?
That's a good question. I don't know what the word.
So the word that's literally what the word tiled means.
I know,
Like,
but
that's-
why
it's
specifically
it's
that
guarded.
word?
Something is guarded.
Yeah.
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 So
I mean,
okay, so all right. One, the logical thing is it's Old English. So
Okay,
Tyler
fair
is
enough.
most likely an Old English
But
term.
the word guard
for
was
some-
around in Shakespearean
True.
time.
But I want to hop off that idea for a second. We'll go back to the word Tyler. But I want that idea you were saying of the word guard. You have the heroic aspect of it being that one that stands protecting the lodge with a sword and a shield, specifically a sword in this case. But also you said a guard in the judicial aspect is the one that stops you from running away.
Yes.
The Tyler protects the people from the outside, protecting the lodge from Cowan's and eavesdropper, but he should also be, as Kevin said, the one reminding you as you leave to not forget the duties you have held, to not run away from your duties
Fair.
that you were just charged with, at least here in New Jersey, because, for instance, in Florida, I know this from speaking to a brother from Florida. Hello, Brother Patrick. How are you? That charge is optional. They actually have an opening and a closing charge.
Okay.
That charge is optional. They don't have to say it. There's a little variation in the
you-
words here and there, but like they don't have to say that.
Are you saying this as the immediate past master, or we all have to walk out the room and be like, "Oh, hi, Andrew"?
Oh, I'm gonna. Now you're saying that. Now I'm gonna sit facing the door
he'll
like
be sitting there sharpening the timeline. He'll be like,
I'm gonna purposely get one
Yeah,
of the
did you-
wheels, the grind wheels with my
we
foot
all
on
voted
it.
on the minutes. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
How
You vote on
long
those
the minutes take? I
What?
make
What is best, worshipful brother?
to see your ritual performed right, to make sure charity gets done.
To see the accounts in good order.
But no, let's go back to the actual word.
Yeah.
Tyler.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you have a tiled kitchen? Do you have a tiled bathroom?
Yeah, it's
These
tiled.
things are protected.
Yeah, it's true.
That's. I mean, I didn't Google anything. The computer's right here. I didn't Google
Ungoogleable.
anything.
So
I'm just
all right.
saying,
So what
that's-
you're saying is the word tile, as we now see it, is like a ceramic tile,
Peace.
Right.
right? But that comes from the idea of that ceramic piece, as opposed to a piece of wood. It's supposed to be stronger than the wood on your floor,
Sure.
and is now protecting.
Sure. I can't imagine that it wouldn't be too far from that.
All right, so he's
Like,
the.
I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but like that just
the impenetrable
It's-
black
it's-
backsplash.
it's not a big
Yeah.
It's not
The
yeah.
impenetrable.
100 years from now, it'll be the guy will be called the Vinyl.
the
Or
vinyl.
something like that. Like we
The
said.
wall-
laminate.
The laminate. The press board.
Brother Laminate, are you laminate on this lodge?
Brother stainless steel.
Brother Stainless.
Yeah, I think all that stuff. I mean, it and rightly so should come to mind. These are things that I know probably in the back of everybody's mind in Freemasonry. It might occur to them, but it is important to look around the room while we're just doing the really mundane business of Freemasonry sometimes and go, oh, I get what that guy's job is. Like, it's really important.
It's like, oh, that
You know,
guy.
right.
Yeah, they don't do any ritual or anything, but why are they there?
I mean, kinda.
No, I'm not saying the Tyler. I'm just saying in general. Like,
Oh,
if you
got
look,
it, got it.
if you look at the officers around the
Yeah.
room, there are some officers that don't
Yeah.
participate heavily in the ritual. But why are
Only
they there?
during the installation, really.
You know, this guy.
Well, you were good. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
we'll talk about music on another episode.
Yeah, we got a
because that is-
whole
Well, skip
thing.
skip that one.
that's-
Don't do that.
Okay,
skip it,
okay.
skip it.
It'll just be me bitching and
Oh,
Not with our lodge.
music, Yeah.
don't make sure you have a meal first. Is what I'm saying.
So, do you have anything else about the Tyler?
I'm good. I think
he put his soapbox away. Right?
Yeah.
I'm
he's
good.
good, he's
No,
good.
I'm
No.
good. I'm good.
No, he had his moment. He got very excited over that.
Yeah,
I was
esoteric.
excited. I think it's a great job.
Oh, yeah. I
I
agree.
think it's a job, at least in our lodge, that is well earned. Worshipful brother.
Yeah, okay. Listen.
So,
Andrew and I got raised together, so
No, we have a different
anytime
connection.
Anytime that I can say worshipful anything, that's
Until Grand Lodge shows up, and
that's
then he's
right.
really gonna
Yeah,
ride me.
No, I'll stay home. Yeah,
So I guess I heard you had a game.
I got one more game, and we'll do it quick. And I
quickie
apologize in advance, but I do want to do another installment of Masonic snippets.
Yes.
All right.
You lean away so I don't see what's on Kevin's
yeah,
screen.
So just to remind you, in case you didn't catch the last one, this is a quote by a famous Freemason, and I'm going to do my best to kind of just paraphrase one or two hints in case you need it. All right, but I will give you the overarching topic.
Mhm.
All right, the last one that we did was Masonic wits. Right, so it was. So I don't want to give away any answers if they hadn't looked it up yet. But people that were known for being very witty,
Funny,
or
yeah.
funny, or quizzical in the way that they would think about the world, observations, things like that. All right. So this overarching topic is called the business of Freemasonry.
Hooray!
Okay.
Okay. So taken from a few different time periods. All right. So the first quote that I have for you is this: that man is best educated who knows the greatest number of things that are so, and who can do the greatest number of things to help and heal the world.
Is that Albert Pike?
It is not. That man is best educated, who knows the greatest number of things that are so, and who can do the greatest number of things to help and heal the world.
Is there a year?
I can give you a year,
Or give
but
me
I
a
can.
decade?
I can give you. Well, he's incredibly important in the 1920s.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
In particular, revolutionized what it meant to be in business.
Ford.
Henry Ford.
Nice.
That's right. It is. So
Nice.
So once you said revolutionized,
revolutionized.
first thing
Okay.
because he
Ford-
made the 40-hour work week.
Right, Fordism, right?
Yep.
The mass production of
Vehicles at that time.
easily reasonably cost goods.
Yes.
Things like that. Okay, so that first one is Henry Ford. All right, the second one, I think you're going to get this
Yeah.
just from the quote itself,
Okay.
but we'll see. Never trust a computer that you can't throw out a window.
I think I know who it is, but Billy, you answer first.
Never trust the. I don't know. I was gonna say
Steve
Bill-
Wozniak.
Steve Wozniak.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jobs,
The
but
Woz.
yeah,
Wozniak was
Okay.
was a brother. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know Wozniak was a brother.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
and then here's the last one. Okay, I've only had two rules: do all that you can, and do it the best that you can. It's the only way you ever get that feeling of accomplishing something.
Wow.
Which in itself is
Yeah.
pretty Masonic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very much
you know.
so. Very much so.
All right,
But this has to do with business.
this has to do with business. I've only had two rules: do all that you can, and do the best you can. It's the only way you ever get that feeling of accomplishing something. And I can riff one or two hints
Yeah, I'll take it.
if you'd like. All right. This person's greatest success came very late in his life.
Oh, Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders.
Was it Colonel Sanders?
Colonel Harlan Sanders.
Harlan.
Because he didn't
I was
get
gonna say,
he
it's
didn't
a
get
Kentucky
KFC
Colonel.
until he was like
Mid-60s.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
very late in his life
Yep.
until he got that. Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
So that was apparently that was the lightning round. That went really fast.
Listen, those are three individuals that are
Great. I mean,
That was awesome. I love those.
What do you have any
That's
extra? Do you
great.
have any? So what other extra things could you have said about those
Okay,
individuals?
so Henry Ford, this whole idea of Fordism, or the assembly line and all that stuff, right?
and paying
Literally
his
changed the world.
workers better wages too.
Yeah.
Yes, and because of it, right? And then Steve Wozniak, who has gone through, all
Oh my God.
the trials and tribulations,
Yeah.
and the valleys and pitfalls of Apple
Silicon
Computer
Valley,
himself. But the guy's an icon.
Yeah,
Mm.
he really is.
And
One of the smartest human beings.
right, and and if you had to pick somebody and point to him and say that guy is the heart and soul of Apple Computer, that was him.
It was him.
Oh my God, yeah. Steve
Yeah.
Jobs was a salesman.
Yeah,
Sure.
That's
absolutely.
what he was.
Mhm.
He might have had ideas, but he was the salesman.
And Colonel Sanders is just.
He's Colonel Sanders.
I mean-
he's iconic.
I mean, Dave Thomas already made it on the podcast.
Yeah,
in
so
season
you
one.
might as well
Yeah.
do his mentor.
So come on, like,
the guy who gave him his.
yeah, we got Colonel Sanders. Yeah,
Yeah,
we do.
we
Yeah, we
know
do.
about it.
Colonel
Yeah.
Sanders, a
wish.
Kentucky Colonel.
You wish you had the spices.
That's
and
right.
deliciousness.
Yeah, the 11 herbs and spices.
He's not in the Elks. We already know what the spices are.
Yeah, we got it. It's in the safe. We got a
Over
safe back there. It's got it in there.
Yeah.
That's one of the Masonic secrets.
Yeah, we
Right.
definitely don't know.
That's what that whole 33rd
I would-
degree thing is.
Yeah,
If we
forget
did-
Satanism. The 33rd degree is learning the Colonel's spices.
That's
I am
it.
putting that on TikTok right now.
If that were true, we'd have fried chicken more often, and we definitely don't.
It wouldn't be green beans and pancakes. It'd be
Yeah,
fried chicken.
Fried
That's it.
chicken and chicken bowls.
That's right.
Mashed potato bowls.
That's right.
Oh God, that is a beautiful way to end this
Yeah.
episode. So again, I hope we have all extended a branch to you with knowledge and light. I hope you tune in for the next episode of the Masonic of the extended branch.
The Masonic extended branch. Yeah,
the Masonic experience that is the extended branch.
That's
Ooh.
the other podcast.
Yeah.
Shut
Okay, all right.
We're not in competition.
That's
All
the
right.
secret.
So for Ricky
Yes.
and brother Billy Bilbo and worshipful brother Andrew Rizzutello, my name is Kevin Cottage.